All right, hello and welcome. I just wanted to put together a quick video to show staff users how to use the WeTrack site. As you can see, we're coming to you today from demo.workethicdiploma.com. This is our demo site that we use for videos like this one. If you're going to actually follow along, you can go to workethicdiploma.com. Just leave the demo part off, and you can actually log into your account and follow us step by step as we go through this. This is what the page that you'll see looks like. And of course, you would click log in at the top right if you're a staff user. I'm going to log into this demo staff account. So let's go ahead and log in. You would just enter your account information there normally. When you log into your account, the first thing you're going to see is your manage account page. And here you have the option to update your username, first name, last name, or email. You can also see your school listed at the top here. So all you would need to do is, of course, go in and change these and click update. You would receive a message that says, hey, your account has been updated, and then you could see those changes again on the manage account page. Most of the action in the staff account happens on the manage students page. So let's take a look there. This is the primary place where you're going to add points and do the actual tracking that WeTrack offers for the Work Ethic Diploma. So the first place you're going to look here is manage students. And the most straightforward way to actually add points for any particular student is to come to this section. You'll see that all your students are listed here. We can see we have a couple of students in the system at this point. And all we do to add points is to click this blue arrow. It'll show us a menu will drop down, and we can actually see all the different standards associated with the Work Ethic Diploma listed here. So you can see that this student, for example, has already been awarded 3 points for attendance. They have not been awarded any points, however, for absences. So if we wanted to actually change this and add some points for this student, maybe they have no unexcused absences, we would simply click this edit button for no unexcused absences. We would check the box next to that, and we would click update. And we can now see that this says yes, the student has been added those 2 points to their account. Now you'll notice that this student had 15 points originally, and this has not updated to 17 points. And that's because you do have to refresh the page in order to see point changes. So we'll do that very quickly here. And you can see that now, yes, indeed, the student has 17 points. I will point out that these do have some fail-safes built in. So for example, a student cannot earn both 1 and 2 points for this absences standard. So if, for example, we made a mistake and we wanted to change this from 2 to 1, we can do that. We would just click edit next to the 1 point there. We would click update, and you'll notice that now this is shifted from yes for 2 points to yes to 1 point, and this is changed to a no here. So the system prevents you from double entering points for the same standard. Again, if we refresh the page, we'll notice that this point total should drop from 17 to 16. There it is. So we have the ability to see these different categories. We can see username, first name, last name, total points, and graduation year, all for the students that are listed under manage students. And that's the way that you add points for just a single student, one at a time. We'll go across the top here. Next, we'll take a look at transfers. If you had a student that was going to transfer into your school, they would request that from their end, and you would get a notification popping up next to the transfers tab, much like you see for these other tabs that have numbers next to them. You would again be able to see the different things that were listed for this student, and you would have the opportunity to approve or deny them. Likewise, for the unverified tab, what we see here is an example of a student who has created their own account, and they are asking for access to be part of Demo School here. So they're wanting their account activated, and as a staff member for Demo School, you have the ability to grant that. This gives you an opportunity to review this and make sure that, yes, indeed, this student goes to your school and that they have an appropriate username. If for any reason you choose to deny them, you can click the deny button, and you'll actually be able to give them an answer for why they were denied. And you would click send rejection, and off that would go. In this case, if we wanted to approve Buzz Aldrin, all we would do is click approve, and then he would shift over to the manage students page. So we would be able to see him there with the other couple of students that are listed there. So we can go ahead and do that. We'll approve that account, and we'll shift over to manage students, and now we can see that this new account has been added. Finally, these last couple of tabs deal with student uploads. Students have the ability to upload documents into their account. This serves partially as a repository of storage for them, so they can always retrieve those documents if they have a certification or some other type of document that they want to keep track of. This is a good place to do that. However, they also have the opportunity to tie accounts to a specific standard. And when they do that, that pops over to the staff side, and it allows you to actually approve points for that standard based on the document that the student submitted. So you can see here the student's first and last name. You can see the school that they are associated with, which of course will always be your school. You can see the file name. In this case, Neil Armstrong has submitted something for industry awareness, it looks like. You can see that it has not been reviewed by any person. When we do actually review this, it will change this section to show who actually reviewed this document. And then lastly, we can see the standard that this is associated with. So this document is associated specifically with industry awareness, internship, work-based learning standard, okay? So we could go back and refer and see that this is actually worth 3 points if you did this. We can also see when, of course, the document was uploaded. And then we have the opportunity again to approve or deny. So the first thing we should do probably is review this document so we can actually click it. This is a Word document. There are other document types that are allowable in the system. So students can also submit JPEGs and PDFs and several other document types that allow them a little bit of flexibility when submitting these for review. And now that we've downloaded that, we can actually pull it up and see. Okay, Neil says he's completed an industry awareness event, so we can take that at face value, and we can now say we've reviewed this. So we want to approve some points for Neil here, and we would just click approve. If we were going to deny these because maybe the document didn't prove that they had done that particular activity, we could click deny, and then we could send them a rejection again. It is important to note that students can actually tie a single document to multiple standards if they need to. So for example, if they had a screenshot of a student management system that showed their GPA, as well as their attendance record and their discipline and maybe several other things, they can actually say that that particular document suffices for multiple standards. And you can use that same document to review those multiple standards and approve those points. We can also go over here and look at past uploads. So as we approve those documents or deny those documents, they will pop up over here. And you can see that Neil has a series of these that have been approved. In fact, I've already uploaded this document once before, this industry awareness document, and given Neil the points for this particular standard. So you can always go back and check this section to make sure that things were approved appropriately or denied appropriately. You can also see who they were reviewed by. So this lets you know that if you have a system set up where at your school there are some staff that are responsible for certain standards and other staff responsible for other standards, you can make sure that they are able to stay on top of this using this tool here. You can also see where somebody might need some help if lots of documents get uploaded all at once. So let's go back to the Manage Students page here. We can see that, that much of our work will come through clicking through these various tabs here. We have some other ways to add points, though, that I want to share. So another way that we can actually add points here is we can do bulk apply points. So what this allows us to do is apply points for multiple students at once for the same standard or standards. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's say that we knew that demo student here and Buzz Aldrin had both completed the same standard. Let's say that they had no absences during their particular school year. So we found that out. We wanted to make sure that they both got assigned those points, but we didn't want to have to click through each of them individually. And you could imagine if there were dozens or hundreds of students in here, how time consuming that would be. So rather than click through them individually, what we've done is instead selected these check marks next to their name. Then we're going to go down here to the bulk apply points section, and we're going to find the standard or standards because we can check multiples, but in this case, we're just going to check one. We're going to click the standard we want to apply and then scroll down to the bottom of the page and click apply points. And you can see that we get a message that says we've successfully updated the points. Now you'll notice no point totals have changed here. So let's click the refresh button. We'll let the system recalculate itself there. Now, it turns out that Demo Smith had actually already gotten 3 points for that standard. So his points did not update, but Buzz Aldrin's points did. You can see that we got 3 points now for that standard for Buzz, and we can drop down here and see that, yes, indeed, those points have been added for that standard. So that can be a handy way to add points for multiple students all at once. All you would do would be to go through here and select the number of the different students that you wanted to add points for, and then find the standard or standards and click apply points. And those instructions are handily listed right here on the site at all times in case you need to refer back to them at any point. So we've got 3 real ways to add points. We can do it manually through the Manage page by clicking these drop-down arrows. We can do it via the Upload section just by approving documents for points, or we can do it through bulk apply points here. Those are the three primary ways that you're going to add points through the site that you're going to help students track. There are some other things worth pointing out on this page. At any point, you can sort your students. So if you would like to sort them alphabetically, for example, by first or last name, all you do is click on the header, and you'll see that here we have them sorted ascending, and then here we have them sorted descending. And then if you click again, it will return to the original order. You can do that for any of these, so we can also do this numerically via total points if we want to. And all of these headers are clickable like that. You can also filter, however, if you want to find specific students or a student, you can actually click here, and let's say we want to find all the students whose first name is Neil. We have these filters. We click them, and that will allow us to see, hey, here's just Neil Armstrong. The other students do not appear. You have these filters for each of these headers. Do make sure that you clear the filters when you're done using them. Otherwise, the remaining students won't show up until you log out and log back in again. So make sure that you clear them. We do have a number of options under the filters as well. So it's not just is equal to, you can also do not equal to, starts with, contains, does not contain, etc. There are lots of choices here that you can utilize to help make your student search easy. You do have the ability to edit one piece of the student's information here. You can change their grad year if you need to do that. So all you would do is click edit, change the grad year to whatever it's supposed to be, and click update. You also have the opportunity to deactivate a student account. Sometimes students accidentally create multiple accounts, and there's no point in tracking multiple accounts for the same student. So you do have the ability to deactivate them by clicking this deactivate button. If you do this by accident, no sweat. This doesn't delete accounts. It just archives them and removes them from this particular viewing screen. So all that you would need to do is get in contact with us. You can actually do that via the contact page here at the top. So if you'll just click contact, then you'll see my information as well as a contact help form. Fill out either one, and you are ready to go, and we'll get that account reinstated for you. So no problem if you click that, but this is just a handy tool here to help keep your Manage Students page clean. So that's Manage Students. Let's click down to Staff Accounts. What Staff Accounts allows you to see is all the other staff that are in the site. So for WeTrack here, you can see we have one other staff member helping us track points here for this school. You can see that they're active. And if we needed to deactivate them for any reason, all we would need to do is click this edit button here. We could actually change their first and last name. We could change their email. And if we wanted to deactivate them so that they could no longer access WeTrack, all we would do is uncheck that button and click update. So we could do that here. And we would see that once we do that, Michael Collins here changes over to false. We can also reset their password. So if you have somebody at your school that hasn't logged in a bit and has forgotten their password, you can simply click this and a reset password link will be sent to the email on file for them, and they can follow that through to actually get access back to their account. So it's handy for staff folks to know that they have access to that, just because you can reach out to us and we can do that for you, but the process is a bit slower than if another staff member just logs in and resets the password for you. Lastly, staff actually have the ability to add new staff. So if you want to make your life a little bit easier and to be a little more efficient with tracking points, one thing that a lot of schools will do is they'll actually add multiple staff tracking points on WeTrack. So to do that, all you do is click Add New Staff, and you'll be presented with this staff registration button here. So you can create a username, a password, and then the first and last name and email for staff at your school. You can't create staff for any other schools, so that's important to note. You can only do it for your own school. But if you just fill these pieces out, you'll click Create, and then you'll find that on the Manage Staff page, that new person pops up here. You'll need to share their username and login information, of course. But beyond that, you can add as many new staff as you like. There are no restrictions there. So do feel free to think creatively about how you can manage workflow a little bit easier if you add multiple staff at your school. You, of course, have the ability to change your own password. That's pretty straightforward. You just put your current password in and then put the new password in here. So you can do that from this form. You also have the ability to check out some reports. So what we can see here for reports is we can look for students for any given school year. In this case, let's pull up 2021, where we've got a couple of students visible. We can see that we have 2 verified students in the account, and that's pulled up by the fact that, backed up by the fact that this says is verified, true, and true. You will notice that if you do not verify students, so if students create their own account and you do not verify them on the Manage Students page, then they won't pop up in this section. So you will not be able to see their data here. But we can see some basic information on the students. We can see that they have a username, a first and last name, their graduation year, that they have indeed been verified, how many points they have, and then whether or not they have graduated. So we know that these students have not graduated yet because they're set to graduate in the spring. This achieved diploma line up here does tell us that we have one student that's at least achieved 20 points, and we can see that that's true here. Neil Armstrong has achieved points. Buzz Aldrin has not yet gotten the 20 points necessary to be listed up here with achieved diploma. We can actually export this information to Excel if we would like to do any more cutting of the data, but we have the ability to dig into students individually as well here within the site. So if we click this drop-down menu, what we will find is that we can see for Neil the different points that he was awarded for each standard. So for the absence standard, Neil got no points. For the attendance standard, Neil got 3 points. For career readiness, 6 points, so forth and so on. So we can actually see the breakdown of how Neil earned the 20 points here. If we're done looking at that, we can click the little blue drop-down arrow, and it'll collapse that back. So we can do that for each student listed here. We also have the ability to look at some aggregates. So we could actually click the standards report here, and we could see the number of students who completed these various standards. We can also see the standards that were not completed. So no students completed these. So this information can be helpful if you're thinking about looking at where your students are doing quite well. So we might find that if we have 100 students earning a work ethic diploma at a school and they're all earning points for attendance, that might be a point to celebrate. Or you might see something like, hey, none of our students are earning points for the CTE competition standard. Why is that? Maybe we need to find a way to offer more opportunities in that space. So this is just a way to give you some helpful feedback, and then you can sort of use that information to improve or to celebrate different pieces of the program. So that's your reporting section. Of course, you can update the year, so you can look at previous years as well, and that's important to be able to do that so you can kind of compare how things are trending over time. So all you would need to do to shift gears would be to click here and select a previous year. In this case, we know we've got a student in there for 2018, so we could see that here. And the same information is, of course, available. The last couple of tabs, you do have a frequently asked questions page here. These are questions that are often sent to us to answer, and we're happy to answer them. So if you email us, we can always give you feedback, and usually in pretty quick order. However, these are things that are commonly asked, and so you can refer to them here. All you do is find the questions that you're interested in, and you would just click this, and they will tell you, for example, how do I sort the list of students? Well, we showed you that earlier. You just click on the header of each row, or you can use the filter feature to make that happen. So feel free to check out this section if you need help getting some answers to things. Again, we are also available for support. All you do is click on contact and you can find our information there. All right, so the last piece to show here is the bulk student registration. This will actually allow staff members to upload student accounts themselves. So rather than have the students create their accounts individually, you can create as many student accounts as you like all at one time. It's pretty simple to do that. All you'll do is follow these instructions. So first you'll download the bulk student registration template. You can do that here quickly, and you can take a look at what it looks like. So it is an Excel spreadsheet in a CSV file. In order to use this, you'll need to put in all these categories. So you'll need to fill out the username, password, graduation year, first name, last name, and email for each student that you want to create an account for. You'll fill out these columns, and you'll save it as a CSV file. It's very important that you do that. And then you'll click Select Files, find the file that you want to upload that you've saved, and then click Begin Bulk Registration. When you do that, you will get a little notification at the top here that says bulk registration was complete, was successful, or bulk registration was unsuccessful, which likely means that the CSV file wasn't filled out exactly correctly or wasn't saved in the right format. Again, all that information is here, so you can always download the template here. You can always see that, hey, you need to have it as a .csv file, and that you need to save it where you can actually find it. But this has been something that schools have used with great success already. The downsides of using this, of course, are once you create a bunch of student accounts, you will need to find a way to actually get their passwords and usernames to them. So as you market the Work Ethic Diploma program, you'll need to figure out a way to also include that information so that students can access their accounts. Otherwise, they will not be able to see they'll not be able to log in and use the student upload feature, which can be a handy feature for you as well. And they won't be able to access the other pieces of the site that are available to them. So that concludes our look at the staff side of WeTrack. I do want to point out, of course, that if you go to the contact page, as I've said several times, you can find my contact information here. You can send me an email at any point in time. If you notice anything wrong with the site or anything that you're having trouble with, you can also click the request service button and fill out these options here. And that will come to both myself and our IT team so that whoever needs to get on this the quickest can do that. We do provide support. So if at any point you have questions or issues, don't hesitate to reach out. We do enjoy interacting with you. And if you have feedback on the site, for example, every one of those features that you saw today were things that staff actually requested. So anytime we can add features, we try to do that. If there's something that you're going to actually use and something that you are really interested in having, definitely feel free to let us know. We always like to hear from you on that front, because ultimately WeTrack is a site that gets used by you, and we want to create a site that is as seamless as possible. So with that, I will wrap up today's recording. Thank you all for your time and attention,